Welcome back, everybody, to the Nintendo Rewind. My name's Cody Christian, and I'm joined by my one and only co-host, Chris Becker. Here, we're rewinding and recapping last week for Nintendo. But before we dive in, how is it going, my friend Chris?
It's going well. It's going good. I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. My question to you is, how the heck are you?
I'm doing well, man. Mostly well. I didn't sleep too good last night, so I'm still trying to get my butt in gear. It felt like a Monday all over again all day today, so I was just not getting anything done. We were lucky we had a thumbnail for tonight's episode. I'm just gonna be completely honest. It was that kind of day, but no, it's been really, really good. Been busy. Had a lot going on this last week, a lot going on today. And overall, it's all been very positive stuff, but I don't know. You been playing any games, eating any snacks, doing anything fun for yourself or not?
Eating any snacks? I lost 10 more pounds this week, so that's exciting.
Let's get some Chris and Cody and Josh dancing emotes in the chat here for the loss of 10 more pounds of Becker.
Right, yeah. But yeah, I just have been going and exercising in the morning, usually around, I say six or seven, but I think today I was doing it in the afternoon. I was over it, but didn't want to do it, but still did it anyway.
No, I feel that.
And having generalized anxiety. I feel like I guess I feel like happy lately. So then because of that, my anxiety is something's wrong.
Oh, no. I shouldn't feel joy. I should be afraid.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I'm being told in the chat there's no sound, but then I'm being told in the chat that they have sound.
There is sound. It's just Mrs. Nerd has no sound. She muted it. It's me.
She's the problem. Man, I always hate that whenever I go live and I'm just waiting for people to tell me whether something's wrong or not, and I'm just sitting here going, well, are we gonna sound good? Are we gonna be good? Is everything good? But I'm talking the whole time as if I am good, and then I get told, oh no, the past 30 minutes of me was silence.
Oh yeah.
It's the worst experience.
But then nobody mentions it.
Yeah. It's come on, community, get back on it. You gotta tell me if something ain't working right. Come on.
But been working on some new material.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we got a new joke. Llama, I hardly knew her.
Llama, I hardly knew her.
What do we got now? Come on, hit us with the new material. I don't know if we're ready for it. I don't know if chat's ready for it.
I don't know. See, I'm working on it. It's new material that I'm working on. I'm not quite sure. I got the punchline down, but I just don't know how to get there, but I'm working on it. And it basically the punchline is just crush me in the frozen section, but I haven't gotten to
what? Crush me in the frozen section.
Haven't gotten to how to work that in yet, but we're almost there. Maybe by next week I'll report back.
Thank God, I need to know. And that's a cliffhanger, but it's like a reverse cliffhanger. It's here's the punchline, but you'll have to come back next week for what the actual full joke is. I can't wait to hear it. I haven't been doing any comedy. You know what I have been doing though?
What have you been doing?
I've been thanking our members for supporting us over at NintendoRewind.com, and everybody in chat should probably be doing that too, because they're helping us continue to create content. So if you'd like to directly support our content, guide what we're discussing, and get exclusive videos that won't be uploaded to our YouTube channel, you could sign up to become a member as well. Plus, you get merch discounts, and every dollar spent on our merch also helps to continue to produce this show. There's even a tier that only costs $1 a month, and with it, you get a shout out. That said, I want to thank our members Calamity Nolan, Sierra Christian, and Shiny Bird for all their gracious support. We're going to get back to the show after that really horrible segue. That was, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been thanking the members all week long. That's what I've been doing.
All week long. Yeah, they crushed me in the frozen section.
Crush us both to make a smoothie. Oh man. But no, like this last week, I will tell you what I have been doing. I've been playing some of this terrible Fortnite season that's been going on with you, and that's been bad. I hate this season. Last Thursday I played Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 on stream with a few friends. We input a code at the beginning of stream to unlock every character. Did not know that would stop you from being able to save your game. So 2 hours of footage was gone. So this afternoon, I spent some time. You were there watching, and making comedy. But I was making comedy. Oh, I was editing a video. Yeah, you're making comedy. That video you made. We learned speedrun tech for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, so that was a lot of fun. If you haven't tried out Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, I heavily recommend it. It's actually really good beat 'em up, like 3D beat 'em up. It's not like a side-scrolling beat 'em up. It's like a 3D beat 'em up game. You just turn your brain off, punch, kick, and you'll have a good time. And then I was messing around with some Game Boy camera stuff. And I've got some parts coming in from a project. I might have mentioned it last week on the show. I'm not positive, but I'm doing some modifications to allow actual lenses to be swapped and mounted to the Game Boy camera. So people can stay tuned if you want to watch me assemble one. Hopefully my parts will be in tomorrow. I'm going to try to go live tomorrow afternoon or something and see if I can get one fully assembled on stream for everybody. I have one assembled, but it was like a prototype build. So the casing's a little bit on the more rough side, but it still inserts directly into the Game Boy Color just fine. But not a sponsor, but shout outs to PCBWay for providing me with a case to be able to build those. So I'm excited to try this out and see what ends up happening. But like that's pretty much it in terms of my last week. It was just a lot of gaming and a lot of side fun stuff. The wife's been doing Santa Claus pictures or prepping to do Santa Claus pictures. A lot of like Christmas sessions in her photo studio with customers and clients. So it's been good though. It's been good. I'm looking forward to hopefully something new coming out in terms of news from Nintendo. But this week has been kind of a little bit of a slow week. We've got not a whole lot of anything. Not a whole lot of anything going on, except for the Game Awards. Which, if you've looked at the title for the episode, that title, Game Awards, the Nintendo snubbed ? And so we'll be diving into that with tonight's episode. But I really need more news besides that. But yes, Kirby Geek over at YouTube. It sounds super cool for the Game Boy camera. I can't wait to show it off to everybody. It's got some really, really good quality pictures that I can take with it now, which is stellar. It's awesome. But no, you ready to get on with the show, my friend?
I'm ready. I'm about as ready as I'm gonna be.
All right. Well, let's dive into this. So like I mentioned before, we are going to be diving into the Game Awards. It is Jeff Keighley's show every single year that you can count on around this time of year in December, where they end up doing awards for all the people that have came out with something cool over the year. And I say all the people, maybe not all of them. There's obviously games that don't make the list, and there are games that should have been in the cut, but what we wanted to do tonight is we wanted to kind of take some time and run through the categories and do some voting on stream. Chris and I are going to vote together on our Nintendo Rewind Twitter account, so that way we can kind of show you guys what is going on there and how everything is looking. But it's gonna be interesting because there's not a whole lot of Nintendo on this list. There are a lot of games that are playable on Nintendo that are on this list, but not a whole lot of specifically just Nintendo. So Chris, are you ready to kind of provide some hot takes and tell everybody what you think about the video games?
Sure. Sure, I'm ready. There are a lot of games on this list, not a lot of Nintendo games.
There are.
But I didn't really expect there to be a lot of Nintendo games.
No, I didn't either. I mean, if you look at it over this last year, Nintendo came out with just very few things, and we'll talk about some of those that could have made the cut and maybe should have made the cut, at least in some regard, that weren't on there. But we'll save that for after we get through with the categories here. Now, the categories that are listed are Game of the Year, Best Game Direction, Best Narrative, Best Art Direction, Best Score and Music, Best Audio Design, Best Performance, Innovation in Accessibility, Games for Impact, Best Ongoing, Best Community Support, Best Independent Game, Best Debut Indie Game, which is interesting to me, how those are divided, because I kind of feel like those are almost one and the same in so many ways. Best Mobile Game, Best VR AR, Best Action Game, Best Action Adventure, Best RPG, Best Fighting, Best Family, Best Sim Strategy, Best Sports Racing, Best Multiplayer, Best Adaptation. I feel like best is starting to like turn into just a sound and not a word for me at this point.
Right.
Most Anticipated Game, Content Creator of the Year, Best Esports Game, Best Esports Athlete, and Best Esports Team. And then, of course, they've got a few more categories that are going to open up December 2nd, December 5th, and December 9th, round 1, round 2, and round 3. I'm not really positive what the player's voice segment of this voting is going to be. Do you have any idea, Chris?
I have no idea.
The wealth of information. Wait, what happened? Okay, here we go. I had to escape out of that. I don't understand why it changed my entire page and everything. So we're gonna save Game of the Year for last, and we're just gonna kind of go directly into Best Game Direction, and talk a little bit about what is going on here with the games that are here. So, Chris, can you explain for the people what Best Game Direction means?
Yeah, sure. It is awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design.
That's very obvious and on the nose, and it's also directly on the screen. So awarded for outstanding creative vision and innovation in game direction and design. Essentially, in layman's terms, I'm assuming basically what this is something new and being creative with the foundation of what you've got, right? So the nominees in this category: Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. I'm curious how you feel about this and where you're at with this specific category and what one you would select if it were just you.
If it were just me, so based on creative, if we're looking at creative vision and innovation in game direction, I mean, I don't know that any game came out that was that innovative within their game direction and design. I mean, we got Balatro, that's got the old changes the way you think about cards.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird to me because like Balatro, out of all of these, is the one that I think innovates the most in its category. Astrobot in and of itself is just a 3D platformer collectathon kind of game. Black Myth Wukong is a Souls-like. Shadow of the Erd Tree is a Souls. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I mean, it's a remake of the original Final Fantasy VII, and yeah, I mean, like, it is a drastic difference from the original game, but it's difficult for me to go, okay, well, that's innovation. And Metaphor ReFantazio, I mean, it is a more streamlined Persona experience. And I think I'm kind of with you in your mindset that Balatro is probably the one that's the most innovative in its category because it takes I mean, what? Explain Balatro to the people, because I don't even know if I can wrap my head around like its actual game. It's a deck builder. I know that much, but is it like poker? Like, what are we looking at here?
Oh yeah, with the Balatro, you got the it's kind of like there is like the jokers are the ones that um uh they have like special different abilities, so you can go with them, but it is like some of the different joke, you want to try and get as high of a score as you can, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, it's just a single player card game that is also a deck builder, but then also sort of you're kind of playing poker. And yeah, the Joker's cards that they have like do different things to like amplify like different either types of cards or either by numbers or by class, so like clubs, diamonds, things like that. And then you want to eventually have like insane scores, have like 100,000 points, and be playing the game doing it that way. Yeah, but in terms of what it does, it's there is definitely a lot that you can do in terms of playing over and over again, and every time having a different outcome.
Mm-hmm.
Like any good roguelike game, or I suppose a roguelite game. But then yeah, like the more you play, the more you unlock, so you can unlock different jokers, and you want to try and get as many jokers as you can, and then put them in your card in your deck, and then be able to win with those.
Kirby Geek says innovation making us pay $70 for parts of a game. I mean, I kind of agree. I kind of agree with that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth take. That is pretty good. Like, when I've looked at this before in terms of best game direction, I've never looked at it as innovation so much as creative vision most of the time when I look at this category. Creative vision, I think, is the most important part of that category. Less so the innovation in the game direction and design. The creative vision in game direction and design is probably more along the lines of the way that I look at that. Black Myth Wukong, it adapts a story of Son Goku, like it's not, it is an adaptation, and it is very much in its own vein still yet a Souls-like style experience, maybe Monster Hunter-esque. Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree was absolutely beautiful. Metaphor ReFantasio, I love the story that it tells. I love the gameplay loop, but again, in game direction and design, it is still dripping with Persona style. So if it's just me voting, I'm saying Balatro. Are you kind of with me on this one?
Yeah, I would say Balatro.
All right.
Yeah, because we have Astrobot, but it's not really innovative.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. Astrobot is a Nintendo game in and of itself. It's not a Nintendo game, but it is a Nintendo game. Then we get into the next category, Best Narrative for Outstanding Storytelling and Narrative Development in a Game. And do you want to list off the nominees for the people, for the audio listeners?
Oh, yeah, sure. We got Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. We got Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We got Metaphor. What did I say? Retafor?
Reddit 4.
Reddit 4. Metaphor ReFantasio. Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2.
And Best Narrative for Outstanding Storytelling and Narrative Development in a Game. There are a lot of these that I have not had the chance to play. First off, Senua's Saga, because I'm a chicken and I don't like scary games, but I love the story of Senua's Saga and would love to watch somebody else play it. Same thing kind of goes with Silent Hill 2, but it's a remake, is it not? A remake of Silent Hill 2? I think
it is. Yeah, it is a remake of Silent Hill 2.
And I don't know how true to the storyline it goes if it's like one for one. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is an original take on the Like a Dragon Yakuza franchise. It is furthering the storyline that's going on there.
I thought it was going to be just some small like miniature, like a smaller game like like Miles Morales or something for Spider-Man, but it was really beefy. They had a lot in there, a lot of story. Your boy's not listening to that, but
he's not reading any of those subtitles.
Yeah, please. But you think I'm listening to that, watching that dub sub? No, I'm dub baby.
He's watching the cutscenes on the background while he's playing the actual game.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, Xenoblade, the Xenoblade method, we call that. But yeah, no. Metaphor. I watched you play it. I liked what I've seen. I saw other people streaming Metaphor, so I'm further than you are in it, but in terms of the narrative.
Thank you.
But yeah, that one I enjoy so far. But yeah, I'm down to pick Metaphor if you are.
I am 100% down to pick Metaphor. I mean, again, it's Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. They are telling a little slightly different story from the overall experience of Final Fantasy VII's original take. But Metaphor, it is a completely new, unique story. I've been so bought into the characters. It is a very different setting from what you've seen with from what you've seen with Persona or Shin Megami Tensei. Even it is Victorian England era. The story that they can tell is very fantastical with your elves and your wolf people and all that. Your fairies and such. I like the story that's there with Metaphor ReFantazio, and it has really captivated me this year in terms of the games that I have played. I've done Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I've played a bit of Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth. I love what they do with the Yakuza franchise as a whole, now retitled to the Like a Dragon franchise. But Metaphor ReFantazio has my heart, and that's kind of where I'm at with it. So we're going with Metaphor ReFantazio as our vote here on here. And then we'll go to the next category. Man, this website loads slowly.
It sure does.
In the next category here, what is the next category, Chris?
I will say before we go on, I saw quite a few people quite upset that 1000X Resist wasn't in for the best narrative.
1000 what Resist?
1000X Resist. It is a indie game. It's on the Switch. Shout out to it. But yeah, I even heard someone say it was their favorite narrative of a game in the last 5 years. So there's that. But yeah, now we are in Best Art Direction for Outstanding Creative and/or Technical Achievement in Artistic Design and Animation. We've got Astrobot, Black Myth Wukong. We got Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Metaphor ReFantazio, and Neva.
Can I tell you how I feel about Metaphor ReFantazio's art direction?
Hunk of junk.
It's not a hunk of junk. And I like.
It looks pretty bad.
No, it doesn't. I mean, it's very much in the PS3 era is the way I would compare it to. But the thing that frustrates me about the art direction in that game, because it is very much a choice. It's a choice in the way that they've done their graphics. But the thing that frustrates me, and the more I've played of it, and I still love that game. I'm enjoying it still yet to this day. But it is the muddy visuals that are going on in there, and I mean that it down to they do this like grainy overlay of like textures moving at like 2 frames a second. You know what I mean? Where it kind of swaps and has this cross hatching, and it has like this vignette around it that is just like really difficult to see some stuff sometimes. Get a lot of pop in. I still love that game, but it is. As much as I would want to vote for it here, because I think it does have its own like very much artistic direction. Like this is what we chose to do, and we did it, and we wholeheartedly committed to it. It's hard for me to look at that one and go, yeah, compared to Astrobot, Wukong, Shadow of the Erdtree, even Neva, It's hard for me to like root for Metaphor Refantasio. So I mean, Chris, what are you feeling here out of these 5 nominees?
The 5 nominees. I do like. There's a couple of scenes, like cut scenes, that look really good in Black Myth towards the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of the just playing through Neva, and you could pretty much stop at any point or take a screenshot of any point of the game, and it would be good enough art to put on your wall. I'm gonna go with that.
I'm impressed. I never would have thought you would have picked Neva. I do like that studio. I mean, developers of Gris, right? So they were behind that, and that's another very beautiful game that kind of chose its art style really, really well. This is the second game that is playable on Nintendo Switch that's in this list too. So obviously it's not a Switch exclusive, but we are seeing some Nintendo Switch representation where people could have had that experience on there. Obviously you're not playing Astrobot or Shadow of the Erdtree on your Nintendo Switch, but never represented there. And I don't disagree with your take. I think if it were just me voting on my own, I think Shadow of the Erdtree I would have went with. There's some vistas that are just absolutely jaw-droppingly beautiful, and so many times in that game and in that DLC, I'm like, oh man, I love looking at what they've got going on there. The boss design's so cool. The world that they have built and expanded upon within Elden Ring itself as the base game is really, really neat, unique, beautifully done. And I mean, if it were just me voting, I would have probably went with Shadow of the Erdtree. But I see your point on the art direction where you're 1000% right. Neva is one of those games that is infinitely screenshotable. Like, there are places in Elden Ring where you could take a screenshot and it would just look like a muddy mess. It would. Whereas Neva, like, nearly every scene is totally screenshotable. I don't think I can argue with that much. I may still, on my personal vote, throw it to Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree at a later time. But I think I gotta agree with you here that Neva, it makes sense what you're saying there, and we'll go with Neva in this category.
Every first game, I think, maybe on the list that I beat so far.
Hey, look at you go, beating a game.
Look at that. I played it. Well, I was like, I played it for more than an hour, but it's only a few hours long.
Mm-hmm. Next category we've got is Best Score and Music. For outstanding music, inclusive of score, original song, and/or licensed soundtrack. And the nominees are Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor Refantasio, Silent Hill 2, and the first appearance of Uwu waifu princess Stellar Blade being on this list.
Someone get a spray bottle, please.
Hubba hubba. But it reminds me of those memes where they're like watching this for the plot, and then it's like the plot, and it's literally just Stellar Blade with like no clothes on. But Stellar Blade, I can't say I've played any of. I've just watched other people play it. As I have a PS5, I totally could have played it. I thought about playing it, but it came out at a similar time around the time that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth came out, and I chose Rebirth over Stellar Blade. Silent Hill 2, it has a deep and brooding soundtrack. It is very atmospheric more than anything, though. So like out of these five games, there's only 3 that I can really kind of speak to, and that's Astrobot, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor Refantasio. And what I'll tell you is that the battle music for Metaphor Refantasio goes so hard. It's hard for me to not want to vote for that. That's where I'm at. Just on that song alone.
Here's the problem. The Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has some great music.
It does, and it's got good redone renditions of old school classics that you love.
Right. But yeah, they're like you said, redone, basically reworked and just reimagined versions of songs that were originally done 20 some years ago. So I'm going to have to go with Metaphor just because of that amazing, spectacular, just battle theme. Just so good.
Mm-hmm. It is so good. I heavily recommend people vote for that one for that, because the music in that game is just awesome. You know, Atlas typically does really well with the music in their games, just in general. I really love what they do. Do you want to head up this category?
Of course I do. Best audio design. Recognizing the best in-game audio and sound design. Astrobot, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2, and Silent Hill 2.
This reminds me of that time you did that one like top 5 video, and it was this. You got to number 5, and it was the first number, and then you cut it off. Oh man,
too many numbers.
How are you feeling here? What's on your mind? What's on your heart? What do you think is gonna be cool?
Best audio design. I mean, they do what is it? They do a good job with the DID, which is like dissociative identity disorder, which used to be multiple personality disorder, and it was in Hellblade, and with surround sound, when you have that on, it just sounds really, I like that. Something about, I mean, something, and then you got the wholesome aspect of it with Astrobot, where like you got the music coming through the speakers of the controller, you got all the shenanigans happening in the game with the joyous, you know, music, plus then the hints of like old school game, like older games that they have. I like that.
The Foley stage for that game in particular has to be absolutely insane, with all the like little springs and all the other noises that are going on in that game.
Yeah. But yeah, I do like what they do with like the sounds in the head set, like when you have that on, listening to them, like the sounds going from like one ear around behind your back, your head, to the other ear. Yeah, it's
chef's kiss.
I think I'll go with Hellblade. But whatever you want to do.
I would agree with Hellblade. Again, it's one I haven't played, so I haven't gotten the chance to experience this one in particular. I have seen Call of Duty Black Ops 6. I've obviously played through Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Astrobot I've watched quite a lot of. But I did play the very first one, the very first Hellblade. And I did it with, at the time I had the Pulse, I forget what the Pulse headset was called, that had the 3D PlayStation sound that was going on in there. And I was wearing it
Pulse Elite
during that game, and just constantly hearing that whisper in my ear was nauseatingly slick. Like I was just so blown away with the audio design and the audio direction from the first one. Now, granted, the second one I haven't had the chance to experience, but if it matches that experience, is really hard for me to not go Senua's Saga all day, every day. I don't think it won the first time around when it was up here, nominated for Best Audio Design before, when the first game was up here. And I really, really hope this one wins. Ninja Theory does a really, really good job with games just in general. So I'm gonna throw them that vote as well. I'm right there with you. If you're down for it, I'm gonna back you up on that one. So
I'm down for it.
All right.
Down to clown, baby.
Next category: Best Performance awarded to an individual for voice over acting, motion, and or performance capture. And on this list, you've got Brianna White from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hannah Tell from Life is Strange Double Exposure, Humberly Gonzalez from Star Wars Outlaws, Luke Roberts from Silent Hill 2, and Melina Jurgens from Senua's Saga Hellblade 2. I don't know that I have a big horse in this race. So I'm going to let you decide for us as a group who you want to throw this vote to.
That's a good question. I'm going to go with Brianna White in Final Fantasy VII. It doesn't say who her voice actress is, but who she's voicing, but I think we all know
who she's voicing. You know who
she's
voicing. That's Aerith Incarnate right there.
Yeah.
So, I'm fine with that. I like Aerith as a character.
She might not be in the next one. Who knows?
Might not be around for long in the next one. Who knows? But if I was kind of torn between Brianna White, Melina Jurgens, and Humberly Gonzalez.
Yeah.
But that being said, like I think Brianna White is kind of where I'm gonna go with on this one too. There's a whole lot of dialogue in that game, and I think it lends itself well to going, you did a lot of work. It's a JRPG, hours long, and most of it is fully voice acted. So she does deserve to get the praise that she gets for just the amount of work that she went into. So, Chris, head this one up.
Yep, I'm heading this one up. By golly, I am. So we're going to go with innovation in accessibility, recognizing software and/or hardware that is pushing the medium forward by adding features, technology, and content to help games to be played and enjoyed by an even wider audience. We got Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Diablo 4, Dragon Age the Veilguard. We got Prince of Persia the Lost Crown. We've got Star Wars Outlaws. I do know that, so sometimes I will see these, but I mean,
we rarely get to experience these because we are not we're not in the disabled community in any way, from a colorblind perspective or needing to have accessibility options in game. So it's really difficult for us to kind of vote on this category, I feel like.
Right, yeah. I know I did see quite a few articles about like a lot of accessibility with Star Wars Outlaws and Diablo 4.
Yeah.
But I don't know which one would be best. But this is one that I would look them all up ahead of time before doing it, and then going from whichever one actually does. Like the one year was real easy when it was like all of the accessibility that they had in, I think it might have been last year with like Spider-Man or like The Last of Us Part 2. Naughty Dog always does a really good job with that. But yeah, outside of that, I'm not really sure.
I think I'm okay with passing on this category until we can make a more informed decision later. So, that being said, if you in the comments have any kind of idea on what you would like to put up there for this category, please let us know. Especially if those accessibility options have directly impacted your life. We'd like to know why and how, and give flowers where they belong, Next category on this list is games for impact, for a thought-provoking game with a pro-social meaning or message. There are a lot of nominees in this category. Closer the Distance from Osmotic Studios, Indica from Oddmeter, Neva from Nomada Studio, Life is Strange Double Exposure Deck 9, Senua's Saga Hellblade 2, Ninja Theory, Tales of Kinzara Zhao, Surgent Studios. So, you mentioned that you've beaten Neva. And it's one of the only games on this list that you've actually made it all the way through. I know you played some of Double Exposure. I wasn't a big fan of Double Exposure, just in general.
Yeah, I played Hellblade 2. I played Tales of Kinzera Zao and Indica. I played them. I did not beat them except for Neva. In terms of games for impact, I don't know. Like, well, of course, Neva's like treat the earth better,
Yeah.
or and don't own a dog.
Don't own a dog.
But then the other ones, I'm not. I mean, I don't know if I know sometimes that they will do a thing where they are donating a certain amount of proceeds to a good cause, but I don't know if any of these did that. This is another one where I'd have to look and see what is done or was done.
I think more so it's just about the message.
For Games for Impact.
More about the message that it's talking about within the game, not necessarily whether or not they're making an impact in the real world environment, but more what is the story that you walk away with that is the impact of what you're talking about. So for instance, like Sinuous Saga is like forgiveness of self, forgiveness of past, right? Neva is treat Earth better. Indica, I'm not even sure. I heard some people talking about Indica. You know what? We're just gonna do a quick Google. Let me see. My Indica story interpretation. Let's go ahead. Let's view this. But essentially, there's a lot of people that talk about this one. Indica being the trivialization of Christianity rather than a direct attack on the religion itself. But talking about how it's more about the superficial aspects of Christianity more so than anything, and how people of different faith are treated within that. Tales of Kinzara, I'd never heard anyone talk about the overall meaning of. And Closer to the Distance, I also didn't hear anyone talk about the meaning of. But Life is Strange Double Exposure, you played that one. What was your interpretation from that story?
Life is Strange Double Exposure, I did not play.
Oh, I thought you played that one.
No, it just came. Actually, it'll be in the fast forward section because it just came out today. They announced it yesterday that it was out today. But yeah, no, that was like one of those things where they released the first 2 chapters, and if you got like the deluxe edition, and then like on the other consoles and PC, and then a few weeks later they released everything else. But I haven't seen.
I understand. Okay. So I think it's hard to evaluate that one just in and of itself.
Yeah. The only one I can go off is Neva.
Well, we'll throw Neva the vote.
Never,
Treat the Earth better, people. Treat the Earth better.
I keep calling it Neva, but I believe in the game she calls her Neva. Neva.
Best Ongoing, awarded to a game for outstanding development of ongoing content that evolves the player experience over time. Your nominees are Destiny 2, Diablo 4, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Helldivers 2. Let me just say, I think last year was the first time a game besides Fortnite won, and it was Final Fantasy 14, wasn't it? If I'm remembering correctly. I think it was last year's best ongoing game.
And it had the DLC that, right?
That
got people
it did. It was a fairly recent DLC as well.
So since the last year's Game Awards, Fortnite got the Lego Fortnite. They got the racing Fortnite. They got an Ice Spice. Screw Ice Spice. But they
Diablo 4 got Vessel of Hatred.
Diablo 4 did get Vessel of Hatred, and Destiny 2 got their final big major expansion.
Yep.
So there was a lot of games still getting updates. Hellblade 2, or Helldivers 2, the story was coming out slowly. Like they were slowly, like the more people would play, the more kill enemies. Like I liked how they did it, but they didn't do it for long enough that since they're already done with it. So I wouldn't really call that an ongoing game at this rate. But yeah, I mean, I really liked what I played so far of the final shape for Destiny 2. Diablo, I have not played the DLC and gotten to try out the new character or anything. So I'm just going to go say Fortnite.
Kirby Geek 4 says Helldivers 2 messed up their game and are slowly fixing it back. So, I mean, if you want to call that about developing their ongoing content that evolves the player experience, I mean, I think Helldivers 2 kind of crashes there. For the longest time, I was very anti-Fortnite in this category because for a long time, I was very anti-Fortnite just in general. But man, that Marvel season like really, really did it for me and got me enjoying that game. But here's what I will say. The ongoing content for Fortnite this last season has been terrible. I hate this most recent season that's on there. But I kind of gotta agree with you. It's what kind of pulled me in. Fortnite evolving its player experience. It's hard to not look at that and go, Fortnite. Well,
that was the last season, but that was only like the last 2 to 3 weeks, right?
Yeah, it was.
Before that, we were playing it every day.
And now we're playing it, 4 days a week.
Still pretty
a lot
much
of time.
Playing it every day, yeah.
So, it just depends. We've been busy though. It's that time of the year. 'Tis the season, right? So,
'tis the season. That's true.
Then we're getting into best community support, recognizing a game for outstanding community support, transparency, and responsiveness, inclusive of social media activity and game updates and patches. Your nominees: Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, Helldivers 2, and No Man's Sky from Hello Games. Chris, lead us off. What are you feeling here?
Let's see. Best community support. I mean, let's be honest. There's a lot of toxic community. But in terms of community support, I have been seeing a lot of stuff with like, I think there was like a new mod for Baldur's Gate that said it was like player's choice, like audience choice, so they could pick everything. And then every time they come out with new updates for No Man's Sky, I'm always thinking about getting back into it, and there's always a lot of people that are like willing to be like, oh yeah, I'll start out with you and I'll show you what to do, how to do it. So there's that. I don't know about Final Fantasy 14, about their community, just because I'm not in
I will say their community is ravenous and in a very positive way about that game, but it is very in-depth. No Man's Sky is the one that kind of piques my interest the most. Although, like Kirby Geek said, Helldivers 2 messed up their game and are slowly fixing it back. I mean, there's a lot of transparency there about, hey, we screwed it up and we're trying to fix that. And they're having positive responsiveness, right? Well, they definitely did. SIE, thank you. But I mean, Helldivers 2 is one of those games where they're kind of going the No Man's Sky route where they've made mistakes, but they're trying to be transparent about fixing that. No Man's Sky was the game I voted for a lot of years because they've been on here several times in terms of providing transparency and updating their game and building the experience around what the player base actually wants. But I mean, I gotta hand it to Helldivers if they are actively working to fix their game. I mean, come on. Like, what more can you ask for in transparency? What more can you ask for in social media activity and game updates? What more could you ask for in responsiveness? So, I mean, for me, I'm going to make the argument for Helldivers 2, but that's just me.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. It's
That'll work. Listen, you got your Neva, and I got my Helldivers 2. That's all that matters.
You got your Helldivers 2, the one you wanted.
All right. Yeah. Now, Chris, do you want to read this one?
Sure. Best independent game for outstanding creative and technical achievement in a game made outside the traditional publisher system. My goodness, we've got UFO 50, Neva, we've got Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, we've got Balatro, and we've got Animal Well. What are you thinking?
Okay, so here's the deal about this. So I am putting up a vote for the audience live right now to vote for, to decide on what the community would like. But I've played all of these except Neva. That's the only one that I haven't touched. UFO 50 I've touched. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes I absolutely adore and love. I don't think that game's for everybody. Balatro I've experienced, but not in the depth that I would like to. Animal Well, I played the crap out of. Here's the thing. Animal Well, I gotta be honest. Animal Well is frustrating for me because that game never once rewards me. Never once rewards me for being smart. Like, I never once felt like, oh, I did something cool and I'm being told that I'm awesome. But it is one of those games that I thought was absolutely stunning and beautiful and atmospheric and did something really, really, really cool. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, however, if you want to talk about a game that rewards you for feeling smart, that game does it constantly, because it is one of those games that is like Return of the Obra Dinn, that like when you figure something out because you wrote down a note on your paper, or you took a note, or you snapped a picture of something, you went, wait a second, I remember this, I need to go put in for this. It is one of those games that absolutely rewards you. And I don't think enough people have played Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. The unfortunate side of it is Annapurna Interactive, I don't think there's anyone around to receive that award now, So, but
I think they got that fixed.
Yeah, that's true. But UFO 50, man, the variety that is there, the amount of people that love UFO 50 and speak so highly of it is just through the roof, because there is an experience there. Even if you picked the first game and you didn't like it, there is something in that set of 50 games that is there. So, community, I'm going to ask you guys live, if you are in the chat over on Twitch, you can vote for this, and you can use your Mario coins, whatever we've got set up as our channel points, to really sing this home. Currently, in the lead is UFO 50 for the community vote right now. But, I've got nothing but praise for UFO 50 in almost every way. How are you feeling about any of these, Chris? Don't tell me you're going to say Balatro.
Balatro, clearly. Balatro is... I'm sure Balatro will probably... If we're talking about what we think will win, I think Balatro will win this category just because it's also nominated for Game of the Year. And it's nominated for Game of the Year, and then on top of that, you have the other games like Animal Well, like you said. I don't know. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, I don't know that many people that played it.
Myself and Calamity Nolan.
Yeah.
Two out of two people played it.
I know myself as well, so there's 3.
Okay, 2 out of 3. My bad.
No, 3 out of 3. 3 out of 3.
Oh, you played it?
Yeah, I played all of them.
See, 3 people
games.
played it.
Yeah. Played it on the Steam Deck. UFO 50, I played quite a bit. I was so excited for UFO 50 to come out. And then, I mean, listen, even though it's UFO 50 and there's 50 games here, I really only needed like, I don't know.
2.
4 of the games.
UFO 4.
I only really needed like 4 of the games to be good for me to like it. There was some games on there that I didn't expect to like as much as I did, like the I can't even remember the name of it. Well, there's the Idle game, naturally.
That is very much in your list.
Yeah, but then also one that you wouldn't think I would like, which was like the party plan, like getting people to come to your party.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one.
That sounds like a Mrs. Nerdwire kind of game. Get people to come to your party.
You had to like get people, like you had to get the cooler people to come to your party, so then more people showed up to your party, things like that. But yeah, I liked quite a bit of the games. I liked the fact that in UFO 50 the how they would have like sequels, but then also show like in chronological order when these games quote unquote came out, so you could see like, oh, if we didn't start seeing this effect in games until this date, so stuff after that could have it, but stuff before that did not have it.
What was your favorite game on there? What was your number one favorite? I'll tell you mine was Grimstone.
Grimstone, is that the RPG?
Yes, the turn-based RPG.
Yeah, I screwed up. I got the dog. I shouldn't have got the dog, because the dog just kind of fights on their own. But yeah, I really like the Grimstone. It's been a minute since I played UFO 50, so I can't remember the names of them all. But yeah, I definitely like UFO 50 quite a bit.
It's looking like the community also does, with an 87% of votes going to UFO 50. So I think that helped decide it for us. we like UFO 50. Surprise.
Surprise.
Best debut.
Yeah, that's a
indie.
perfect Switch game.
It is. It truly is. Best debut indie game. For the best debut game created by a new independent studio, and you've got Animal Well, Balatro, Manor Lords, which I haven't touched at all, Pacific Drive, and The Plucky Squire. I'll kick it off here. There are 3 games on here that I really liked, really liked, and one that I was just kind of okay with. And then another one I didn't touch, which was Manor Lords. But I did still really like Animal Well. I just wish it had rewarded me more often. The Plucky Squire, don't play it on Nintendo Switch. It's the worst place to play it. But The Plucky Squire is everything a Zelda-like I needed in my life that isn't a Zelda game. Balatro, I haven't spent enough time with it, but I like the concept that's there. I'm a big fan of roguelikes. And then Pacific Drive, I wanted to love so much. I wanted to love that game so much. I bought it pretty close to when it launched. Was so curious about it. It kind of had like that Control weirdness. If you've played Control, like what is going on in this surrounding area that I'm in, and nothing makes sense. You're driving a station wagon. But in and of itself, it was a survival crafting game, and that did not grab me quite the way. I thought it was just going to be an arcade racer and like chaos, which is what I wanted more than anything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was very much a survival game. It had such cool atmosphere, and it did a really good job of conveying that. But it's hard for me to say, yeah, that one's probably the best one on this list. If I was just going to pick on my own, I'm going to say The Plucky Squire.
Well, here's the thing.
Here's the thing. You're wrong, and here's why. It's Balatro.
It probably is Balatro here. But yeah, Manor Lords was I enjoyed. I ended up playing it on GeForce Now. Shout out to Steam families, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of Manor Lords, I enjoyed that, but it's a town built, like, you know, city builder. Basically, you're the lord. You get to walk around as the lord, just like soaking in. It's almost, it would remind me of like SimCity on the SNES, walking around.
You're thirsty for power.
Thirsty for power. Pacific Drive, actually, what I liked about it was the survival aspect of it.
Mm.
And that I liked, I liked the game that it was, as
I'm
opposed
more
to
an
what I
arcade racer
imagined it was.
guy than I am survival crafting guy, and that's really the problem for me. So I can see why if you enjoyed that, you liked that more. I can totally see why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like the atmosphere of it, and like, I almost went back and played some more of it yesterday, but just ended up not doing it. Animal Well, it's not going to be my first pick. The problem with the Plucky Squire is I love the 2D art and the look of it, but the 3D world, like when you're running around in the 3D spaces, just looks so bland in comparison to the 2D stuff.
Yeah.
That half of the game, therefore, is a hunk of junk. It just no thanks.
That is a take. Holy cow. I didn't really expect you to say it was a hunk of junk, but I understand. Well, I don't disagree. I think there's a lot of people that will agree with you that the 3D parts of the game were the most boring parts of the game. And were the most bland portions of the game, when it really should have been a feature more than anything. It should have been a good feature of that. But I understand where you're coming from, and I don't feel strongly enough to push you toward the Plucky Squire away from what you're about to say. So what are you about to say?
So yeah, I think Balatro
is
the best debut indie.
I'll give it to you. I think it's had more of a cultural impact than the Plucky Squire did too. So I think it absolutely has. Best mobile game. You want to tell the people about this? No, that's true. It's no Atomic Crops. Oh man, give me my Atomic Crops. You want to lead up this category?
Yeah, sure. Best mobile game for the best game playable on a mobile device. How novel. We've got Balatro, AFK Journey, for crying out loud. We've got Zenless Zone Zero. We've got, Wuthering Waves. We've got Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket. There we go. We got that.
We do got it.
In no world should it go to Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. I will agree with that take, and that's a hot take. I've enjoyed my time with Pokemon TCG Pocket, but
I enjoyed half of my time. Well, a quarter of my time with that. I think it's because even though there are technically a lot of cards, there's only a certain number of packs or decks that people are using. So it's like if you don't have something to counter that deck, then you're out of luck.
Yeah.
And you just gotta wait for more cards to come out.
Mm-hmm.
But it is not. That is not it. AFK Journey. I think it was like the artwork I always thought looked really good. So then I was like, all right, it's free to play. I'll give it a shot. And that is not it. That is not it.
No.
Now, however, I have enjoyed my time with Balatro. But I played that on Steam Deck and Switch. But one game that I have enjoyed that Cody got me into, Zenless Zone Zero. I know Cody is a big fan.
Giant fan.
So I'll get the spray bottle out again because
there's all my waifus.
Yeah. Luckily your waifu's not home.
She'll be here soon enough, coming down with the spray bottle, it'll be fine. Yeah. It'll be fine. Yeah. Oh man. No, here's the thing. Your take on Pokemon Trading Card Game Pocket, I'm 100% with you. I think there are a lot of things that kind of plague that game. And I mean, clearly, like, it's making money. If you've been paying attention to the Nintendo news ticker down below, I mean, they made $120 million in there since its inception, since its launch on devices. the biggest problem I have with it is that there's not enough for me to keep going back throughout the day to continue playing it. I go on there, I get my daily gift, I open my booster packs, and then I claim my daily mission rewards, and then I go and look at my collection to see if I have enough pack points to be able to create a Zapdos EX card, and then I log out. There's no the loop is really difficult for you to get into. Because the games take so long. It's no Marvel Snap in terms of speed. And then on top of that, I'm with you, like the meta-defining decks, that is what there is. That's what you're competing against, is the meta-defining decks. So there's not a whole lot of variety there in terms of what everyone is playing. And obviously that'll change as the game ages and they add more expansions to the game, booster expansions. Which rumor has it should be hitting before the end of the year, seeing some more booster expansions coming in. But I as much as I've enjoyed my time with that game, it is still one of those games that I don't think it is the best mobile experience that is on this list. AFK Journey, I'm with you, sucked. Wuthering Waves, haven't even touched. But Zenless Zone Zero, everything about that game has my heart. It's got such a much better mobile loop. It is like a full-fledged video game on mobile devices. If you're a fan of Genshin Impact, that same people, Hoyoverse, Honkai, what's Star Rail? Honkai Star Rail, which I didn't play. That's the rhythm game. This is a very different experience, and it's very satisfying to do the missions and the battles. And I don't feel like I'm stuck in that game for longer than I need to be. For lack of reward. So like Zenless Zone Zero, it's the one I'm gonna put my vote for. Are you with me?
I'm down.
Very cool. Zenless Zone Zero it is. Next category. Best VR AR. I haven't played any of these. I have an Oculus. But I haven't played any of these. This is for the best game experience playable in virtual or augmented reality, irrespective of platform. Arizona Sunshine Remake, Asgard's Wrath 2, Batman Arkham Shadow. I saw some videos on that. That looked entertaining. Metal Hellsinger VR, which I love Metal Hellsinger on its own. I don't know if that game translates well to VR. And Metro Awakening, which is another addition to the Metro franchise. If I'm going to vote here, I'm going to vote Batman Arkham Shadow because it's the only one I'm familiar enough with.
Yeah. Asgard's Wrath 1 was like one of like the highest rated games, or maybe it might have been Asgard's Wrath 2, might have been high rated really highly.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that we've got, I just didn't really hear as many people. I heard quite a few people talking about it, but then we got the Batman game, and you put Batman in something. I really like the developer, who, I mean, now they're owned by Meta. What is it? Who is Camouflage? But they did like Iron Man VR,
Mm-hmm.
and now they're doing Batman Arkham Shadow, and this is a game that no other game has done in a while. Made me want to have a Quest 3.
All right.
So
we're just going to vote for Batman.
I'll go with Batman.
Let's do it.
That's quick.
Best action game, Chris. You want to tell the people what it's about and what it is?
Sure thing. For best action game in the action game genre, focused primarily on combat, we've got Black Myth Wukong, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, Helldivers 2, Stellar Blade, Settle, Warhammer 40K,
Auga!
Space Marine 2.
Also Auga for big burly man. Oh, man.
Yeah. So we've got, I mean, of these games, I've played three. I played everything but Stellar Blade.
Why didn't you play Stellar Blade, Auga?
It's So only on the PS5.
That's true. That's true.
I did watch people play it, but
For the plot, right? Oh
yeah,
man.
Best action game.
Yeah.
I mean, we got what? Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2. Just playing it reminds me of like a new Gears of War.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yep. Which I love. I love Gears. And I'm torn between two titles on this list. I am torn between Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 and Helldivers 2. Every time I watch people play Helldivers 2, because my anxiety goes too high when I'm playing Helldivers 2. But every time I watch people play Helldivers 2, it is just action incarnate. Constant action. It doesn't stop action. It's like everything is awful all the time in that game. And it is so much action. But I think we kind of got to throw it back to what Kirby Geek in the YouTube chat said, in that it is a broken game still yet. Whereas Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2, I mean, it launched as a complete experience and wasn't so much dependent upon a live service game. It has a good story to tell. Absolutely beautiful. One of the most beautiful games out of all of these, aside from Stellar Blade, Auga. But I mean, Warhammer 40K, that's kind of where I'm leaning with it. And I could be wrong on that, but you tell me if I am.
Yeah. I think Black Myth might end up winning this category when the show comes. Okay.
MUA2 in the live chat here, by the way. Yes, I'll vote for that one. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, best action game that I played this year.
Yeah. That's man. You just got to add that to the end of every category that I played this year.
Yes.
But yeah, Space Marine 2 is fine.
All right. Nice and easy pick on that one. Best action adventure. And this is where we get our very first Nintendo nominee. And we're here on Nintendo Rewind, okay? We're here on Nintendo Rewind. Keep that in mind, Chris, Super Nintendo backer. Best action adventure.
Put a good game on here. I'll pick it.
Stop it. For the best action adventure game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving. Keep it in mind. Okay?
I hear you. I don't know why you keep emphasizing this.
I gotta be honest. Astrobot, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, Silent Hill 2, Star Wars Outlaws, and Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. So, here's what I gotta say. I did not play Silent Hill 2. Okay, I didn't play Silent Hill 2. Star Wars Outlaws, I watched quite a bit of gameplay of. I was waiting for it to go on sale because it's an Ubisoft game. And it will go on sale eventually at a very deep discount. Same with Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, although you played a bit of Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, didn't you? Or was it the Rogue Prince that you've played quite a bit of?
Both of them. I beat the Lost Crown on Switch.
Lost Crown's a Metroidvania. Rogue Prince is a roguelike.
Yes.
Astrobot, I'm interested in on this list. I am interested in on this list in terms of getting the win, and I think it might. But we would be doing ourselves a huge disservice to Nintendo Rewind if we did not vote for the very first Nintendo game on this list to be a Nintendo game, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom, right?
Here's the problem. You don't just vote for it just because it's there. This is the Game Awards, not the Nintendo Awards.
Not yet, anyway. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
We gave it an 83. As a review score, we gave it an 83 here. You can't tell me Lost Crown is better than Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. I won't believe you. Not for a moment.
It is better than Echoes.
No, it's not.
Wisdom.
Star Wars Outlaws. You definitely can't tell me it's better than Echoes of Wisdom.
I've only played about an hour of it. Yeah, so I can't do that. I'm waiting for the Steam version comes out on Thursday. We'll see what happens.
Astrobot is the only one on this list that I think could possibly be better than Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom.
I mean, there's no way I can allow us to vote for Zelda with Astrobot there.
Why?
No, because Echoes of Wisdom. It's no.
Okay. Chris, look over there. It's something else that you don't know about. You need to look at it. Did you see it? Did you catch it? Did you catch it? Hang on. Oh shoot! It changed screens. I don't know what happened.
Now you have to go back.
Okay, we're here. Best RPG. For the best game designed with a rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer online experiences. Dragon's Dogma 2.
What I say does not matter.
It matters.
Vote whatever you want.
It matters. We voted for Astrobot.
The worst game. Yeah. The what? Third worst game on the list.
We voted for Astrobot.
Voted for it?
We voted for Astrobot. We voted for it. For the best game designed with rich player character customization and progression, including massively multiplayer online experiences, Dragon's Dogma 2, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erd Tree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, and Metaphor ReFantazio. What are you going with here, Chris? My dogs are going crazy.
Dragon's Dogma 2.
Are you serious?
No, not at all.
Okay, I was about to say you like Dragon's Dogma 2?
I do like Dragon's Dogma 2.
It was okay.
You know what's weird is I own GeForce Now.
Mm-hmm.
I added it to my library because it was free for a weekend, and it still doesn't show up as free. It still shows up as like I can buy it on Steam, but according to GeForce Now, it thinks I own the game. And so when I hit play, it just automatically launches the game and lets me play it as if I still own it.
What? That's awesome.
Yeah, it is wild. Yeah. I don't know what happened there, but that just because of that, I'm not going to vote for it, you know?
Mm-hmm,
just because it is, just because I also host the Capcom Rewind podcast doesn't mean I vote for the inferior game.
Oh, you do? Everyone go follow twitch.tv/Capcom Rewind.
Yeah, we talk about all the Capcom games that came out last week.
You and Joe after work.
Yeah, you and Joe. We're out here living. But yeah. I don't know. I mean, Erdtree, absolutely not. For best RPG, no.
It's not JRPG. It's role-playing game, not Japanese role-playing game.
No. It's like an action game. I don't consider it an RPG.
It's an action RPG. You have skills that you're managing. Okay, hang on. Let me just pitch this to you. Cuz there are two things that I think are important in this. I
have the game. I don't need you to explain it to me.
Rich and player character customization. Those are the two things. That I think are important in this category. And there is so much depth in your player customization. Really, there's only two things on here that I think kind of meet that requirement. There are only two games on here that I think meet that requirement.
That meet what requirement?
The rich player character customization.
And what two are those?
Dragon's Dogma 2 and Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree. I think the other three don't meet that requirement at all.
Why do they not meet that requirement?
Because it doesn't have rich player character customization.
I mean, Infinite Wealth has a class system. You can change their class. You can go around, collect homeless people like they are Pokemon. I don't see what sort of
gotta
rich
catch 'em
player
all,
character.
Hobomon. Oh my gosh! No, here's the okay. So you don't think Shadow? Do you just hate From Software? Is that what it is?
No, I would consider it more of an action game than an RPG.
It's an action RPG.
Yeah, no.
Well, would you consider Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth an action game more than an RPG?
Well, not the turn-based RPG. No,
it's not a turn-based RPG. It's just RPG.
It's turn-based though, but No, I would consider Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree for an action game, not for an RPG.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Well, let's hear the rest of it. So which one would you go for then?
You know what? It doesn't matter.
It does matter. I'll vote for what you want to vote for. No, I'm gonna vote what you vote for.
That'd be the first time. I'll tell you what.
I am tenderly in the live chat says, if you can't spend 8 hours in the character creation screen, are you even RPGing?
I mean, Dragon's Dogma had a character creator that came out ahead of time.
It did, and you could spend some time on it. You could spend some time on it. I have a hard time. Metaphor v Fantasio has no character customization in that sense. Like the protagonist, that's what you look like. That's who you play as, and you do build up your skills, but like for the most part, it doesn't do anything. Final Fantasy VII, you've got your skill based customization, and it does have an affinity screen character map, but like it's hard for me to argue that one's much of a rich player character customization. I'll give you Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth to an extent. I really will. I'll give you that one to an extent. But man, like my heart goes out to Shadow of the Erdtree just from the rich player character customization that you can actually do, and the way that it balanced gameplay. Because Dragon's Dogma 2, I think it's a more inferior game to Shadow of the Erdtree, but that's just my opinion. So what do you want to vote for, Chris?
Shadow of the Erdtree.
Is that really what you want to vote for? Or are you just going with me?
Yeah, sure. Whatever you want.
No, it's not what you got. Oh my God. Are you wanting to do Like a Dragon? Are you wanting to do Like a Dragon?
I like Like a Dragon. I like Rebirth, and I like Metaphor.
Okay.
And I like Dragon's Dogma too, but I don't think it's...
You just don't like Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree.
Yeah, not for RPG.
It's the perfect game for you. Like the only way to see story is to go and interact with the stuff that you have to read. You don't even have to read it. I'll give you Like a Dragon. I'll give you Like a Dragon. That'll go on there. Oh my God. Okay. Even though we all know Shadow of the Erdtree should win that. Like I'm just gonna be completely honest.
Well, you could have had Shadow of the Erdtree if you didn't pick Zelda.
Frickin' my God. Okay. Best fighting game. For the best game designed primarily around head-to-head combat, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising, Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics, Multiverses, and Tekken 8. I think Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection Arcade Classics should not be in this list. It wasn't a remake. It wasn't a remaster. It is literally like they put it out. Like it's a collection of old stuff. It's hard for me to go, yeah. It's nice that we have it. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm thankful that Capcom put it out, but that is not the best fighting game on this list. But I genuinely don't know what I'd want to go for. I haven't played Sparking Zero, and I'm very interested in it. And I haven't played Multiverses at all. But it just is not like I love Smash, and it just doesn't meet that level of quality for me. So it's really hard for me to just say Multiverses. Tekken 8, I'm not good at Tekken. So I mean, I don't know. I'm more interested in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero than anything here.
Multiverse. It went away for like 6 months, came back. Please leave chat out of
this. Go fix our mistakes, chat.
Vote for Astrobot. It doesn't have enough. But yeah, the Multiverses, I wish I liked it more than I do. I think I might like it more than, even with Cat Dog in it, more than those Nickelodeon fighting games. But
Cat Dog, even with Cat Dog in the Nickelodeon Brawl Stars or whatever it's called.
Yeah, Ren and Stimpy. Yeah, even with them, I still like Multiverses.
I think the gameplay in Multiverses is better, and it's less floaty. You don't have a lot of character control in the Nickelodeon, but that's not even on this list. So like, which also Mortal Kombat 1 didn't make the cut. I didn't even think about that. Zed is completely right. I'm surprised Mortal Kombat did not make the cut. Ed Boon's usually like a gigantic fan of Jeff Keighley and the Game Awards in general and does a whole lot for that. I'm curious why Mortal Kombat 1 didn't make the cut.
Because it came out September 14th, 2020.
Oh, yeah, that is right. That is prior. Was it in there last year? That's
probably why it wasn't there. They had the DLC out. It was there last year.
The DLC is just too recent. Like they keep putting out DLC, and that's why it makes me think about that game being on this list all the time. Wildwood says he sparked some Dragon Balls. Not bad.
Shout out to him. Spark those dragons. I love the Tekken series, and Tekken 8 is no different. I like the way it looks. I like the roster. I like what they're doing with the DLC. I hope we eventually get Tifa in there. She would be great for Tekken. And then just the ridiculous roster of the amount of characters that they have in Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. I like that, but for me, I would pick Tekken 8.
Okay. I mean, I don't feel strongly in any way because again, I don't do a whole lot of fighters anymore. It's just not my jam unless it's Super Smash Bros. But Tekken 8, I'm totally okay with going and voting for that one, although the one that piques my interest the most out of this list is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. And that also says something because I'm a big fan of Arc System Works fighting games too. Grand Blue Fantasy versus Rising should captivate me, but it just doesn't. It just doesn't. So we'll go with Tekken 8 here from Bandai Namco. Now we're into best family game. For the best game appropriate for family play, irrespective of genre or platform. And your nominees are Astrobot, Princess Peach Showtime, Super Mario Party Jamboree, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, and The Plucky Squire. I have problems with this category just in general. First off, they should just like they should just title it as best E-rated game, not best family game, because I can't play The Plucky Squire 2-player. I can't play Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom 2-player. I can't play Astrobot 2-player. Right? Like, those are not family games. I can't play Princess Peach Showtime 2-player or 4-player or 5-player. I can't play it with my family. The only game on this list that actually makes sense to me to call it a family game is something I can play with my family all at once, and that's Super Mario Party Jamboree. And even then, I don't necessarily want to vote for it. Like, I like Super Mario Party Jamboree, but I don't know that it's the best game on this list.
Well, it says appropriate for family play. Please, you need to teach your kids some patience. They can sit there and watch
pass
you
the
play
controller.
This child-appropriate game. Yes.
Protest the vote. Thank you, Commodore Zed. This is dumb, says Team Wildwood. This is a dumb category, and every year I have that same complaint in that they talk about family games, and this is not a family game. Like, the only family game on here is Super Mario Party Jamboree. Couch co-op, kid-friendly, 1000% Wildwood.
I think I almost feel like they have this category because you know what? In case the Switch Nintendo doesn't get any other games, they can at least have some nominees here.
Yep. I don't know. Like, I lean toward voting for Super Mario Party Jamboree because Princess Peach Showtime is garbage. Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom is single player. Astrobot single player, and Plucky Squire single player. But that's kind of where I'm at with this one. Are you on that boat with me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. We agreed. Look at us go. Hey, nature is healing.
I don't know about that. Still
Nature's healing. It's healing.
Thoroughly annoyed You went behind my back and selected Zelda.
You don't know
And
that. It was
lied
off
to me and
screen.
told
No one
me
knows what I
selected
did.
Something else.
You can't tell. You don't know.
I know. You have a terrible lying face.
I've never lied, ever.
Right, like I said, terrible.
You want to tell the people about Best Sim Strategy?
Yeah, sure. Best game focused on real time or turn-based simulation or strategy, gameplay, irrespective of platform. Okay, so we got Age of Mythology Retold. We've got Frostpunk 2. We've got
Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess.
Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess, of course. We've got Manor Lords, Unicorn Overlord.
You played at least one of these you've told me about. Two of these, actually.
Yeah. I've played every single one of these games. Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess is a game I didn't think I'd like because I didn't really enjoy the demo.
Mm-hmm.
But then, shout out to Capcom, they sent me a code on Steam, and then I played it, and I ended up playing it for like 12 hours. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And then Age of Mythology Retold, I played that. It is kind of, I mean, it's like a remake of Age of Mythology, but I didn't really enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Frostpunk 2, on the other hand, I'm terrible at it. Everyone died multiple times. Every single time I try and make a run for it, they die before the winter. I don't make it. The Manor Lords, I enjoyed that as well. The Unicorn Overlord, there's like a demo that lets you play for like 6 hours before it ends, so I'm still playing through that demo. But I really enjoy that. Plus it's probably, I think, the only game game's nominated for.
Yep.
But if it were up to me, based on all the games that I played and which ones I enjoyed the most, I would probably go with Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess.
I'm surprised. I thought you were going to say Unicorn Overlord, because that's kind of the one that I'm leaning toward out of these. I didn't play Manor Lords. I'm a big fan of Frostpunk. Age of Mythology Retold just wasn't my jam. But Unicorn Overlord was the one that stuck out to me. But I mean, Kunitsugami, I agree with you.
But, yeah.
I mean, Capcom's doing a decent
Unicorn
job.
Overlord's right there too. I really enjoyed that. I liked. There's a lot of talking in that one.
Mm-hmm.
This Kunitsugami is like, kind of like Onimusha plus, what's the name of that one? I can't even remember the name of it. It's like a tower defense game mixed
Bloons.
No, it was not Balloons or Balloons 2.
Bloons 6.
It was not Snood either, please.
That's not a tower defense game. Star Fox Assault.
No, it was for the PlayStation, made by the people that did you like run around as a guy like with like a tiki mask.
Tack and the Power of Juju. Crash Bandicoot.
It was they made it for PlayStation, and then eventually it came to Switch.
Oh, PlayStation 5? And then came to Switch. PlayStation 4?
It was like a PSP game originally, and then it came to PS Vita, then it came to PS3, PS4.
I don't even know.
It doesn't matter, I guess, but that's what that reminds me of.
All right, well, let's do it. Kunitsugami.
Okay.
You sold me. You sold me. Best sports and racing game. For the best traditional and non-traditional sports and racing game, I don't care about this category at all. Just going to be completely honest. F1 24, EA Sports FC 25, NBA 2K 25. Shout out to Courthead out there. Top Spin 2K 25 and WWE 2K 24.
I'll tell you what. Maybe the biggest, possibly. I mean, we're going to get to it later because you're going to think there's a bigger snub, but I think the biggest snub of the year was no college football in best sports.
I would agree with that take. In some ways.
But what am I going to pick? Obviously, WWE 2K. They're killing it right now. The WWE, their long-term storytelling better than ever. But yeah, WWE for me.
You got it.
Okay, sorry. No, NBA 2K09.
My bad. Hang on. I don't think they put that one on the list. Best multiplayer for outstanding online multiplayer gameplay and design, including co-op and massively multiplayer experiences, irrespective of game genre or platform. We see yet another Nintendo game on the list here with Super Mario Party Jamboree, Tekken 8, Helldivers 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2. I don't really want to vote for Super Mario Party Jamboree in this case. I'm just going to be completely honest. But I haven't played Tekken 8 because I'm bad at Tekkens. Warhammer and Helldivers all are very interesting to me. And Call of Duty Black Ops, I've heard nothing but good things about the multiplayer experience in that game, including like the zombies mode that they have in there. It's just more Call of Duty, in my opinion. And that's kind of why I dropped out of Call of Duty as a whole. I haven't played one since I think like Black Ops 3 or World War II, whichever one came out the most recently. It's just not my jam. But if I was going to pick one on this list, like Helldivers 2 is a dang fun time. Like it is still a fun time, even if it's broken. Still a fun time.
Yeah, we can go with that.
Kirby Geek, vote Mario Party if you want the best way to screw over for yours. Oh man, what are you leaning toward here, Chris? Anything speaking to you?
Nothing is speaking to me on this list. But yeah, Helldivers 2. I mean, I played quite a bit of that, so I guess I'll go with Helldivers 2.
All right, we can do it. Best adaptation. Now, this is an adaptation of a video game going to a multimedia style franchise. You've got Arcane, yes. Which is based on, what is that, Jinx from League of Legends or whatever she is?
Yeah.
Fallout, which was based on Fallout or whatever that was from Bethesda.
Fallout.
Knuckles, which is from And Knuckles. Like a Dragon Yakuza.
From the Genesis, yeah.
Yes. Like a Dragon Yakuza. And Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft. I did not watch Tomb Raider, The Legend of Lara Croft. Like a Dragon Yakuza is very weak. And it doesn't, it's hard to get behind the main character. They did a really bad job casting. Knuckles, I felt was not, it was just more of the human stuff that nobody really wants.
Yeah, you could tell it was on a budget because, not in as much.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason they went with Knuckles instead of Sonic is because they can have Sonic running around the whole season.
Yep.
I think Fallout for me.
Yeah.
Was probably my favorite.
It was very good. I think Arcane as a whole is a good animated series. But Fallout was, it's just built on that world. It's such rich lore, very well done costume design, very good story. I'm totally bought in. I can't wait until the next season. Like, I'm looking forward to that. Like, the wife and I watched that really late after it had already all came out. So we got to binge it. It was so good. It was so good. And then I think this will be the final category we'll be voting in tonight because the rest of it is content creator, esports team, and all the other stuff, except one more category that we've held on to the end. But most anticipated game, recognizing an announced game that has demonstrably illustrated potential to push the gaming medium forward. And your nominees are Death Stranding 2, on the Beach, which I did not know that was that subtitle. Ghost of Yote. Grand Theft Auto 6. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Another Nintendo game, mind you. And Monster Hunter Wilds. Chris? We're going to count it down on the count of 3, and we're going to say what we're most excited for on this list. Okay, you ready?
Okay, sure.
And we'll try to say it together as best as we can because there's going to be a little bit of a delay because we're over the phone. But I'm going to count it down, and I'm going to try to say it right when you're saying it. So, 3, 2, 1. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. What? Really? Monster Hunter Wilds is what you're most excited for?
Yeah, I love Monster Hunter.
I am surprised. I am surprised that you are most excited for Monster Hunter Wilds, most anticipated. Man.
I enjoy Monster Hunter Wilds. It's very we just had the beta, right? And the game itself, I'm looking forward to the monsters. We get to carry 2 weapons with us for going forward.
It's true. So you can be Insect Glaive and whatever else you want.
I was thinking I'm probably going to bring a hunting horn so then I can give myself buffs and then switch to the weapon I want. But yeah, I am really looking forward to Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. I hope beyond hope that it turns out to be a good game.
Yeah.
Playing through Metroid Prime 1 again on the Switch made me almost more excited for this. I feel like I'd be even more excited if it was coming out, in the next, if it was coming out this Thursday or something.
Right.
But next year sometime, we don't know when. I'm looking forward to that. Yeah. I'm fine with that too. I'm looking forward to the other games for the most part. I don't really care about GTA, but the other ones I'm excited about.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to rank these myself, from most excited to least excited, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is my number 1 right now. Probably followed legitimately. I don't like the story modes in Grand Theft Auto. I do like getting online and just doing chaotic things in GTA, and that's just kind of fun for me because you have a lot more character customization. You're not locked into something linear. You make your own story if you want to. So I think Grand Theft Auto 6, because I'm just very curious, because even this many years on, Grand Theft Auto 5 still looks really good. Like, it is a pretty game to look at still yet. So I'm intrigued in what they can do to step that up. And that's the only reason I'm really looking forward to that game, is to see just how graphically enhanced that game could be. Death Stranding is my number 3. I really loved the story in Death Stranding 1. If you like cutscenes, you got an 11-hour movie that you can watch out of that first game. The atmosphere, the environment, Kojima doing Kojima things, it was good for me. Monster Hunter Wilds is probably my number 4, and genuinely, I like Sucker Punch Productions, but I hadn't heard of Ghost of Yotoi, and I'm assuming that is the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima.
This is your first time hearing of it?
Yeah, this is my first time of hearing of Ghost of Yotoi.
Knock it off.
No, this is my first. Is it the sequel to Ghost of Tsushima?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I knew they were working on one, but I didn't know what it was titled or that they had any kind of art for it out yet either.
Yeah, they had the trailer at the State of Play.
I didn't even watch the trailer. How did I miss that?
Next year.
How did I miss that? But that's kind of where I'm at. So, I mean, I can split the difference and go Monster Hunter Wilds if you really want to, but I think Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is just like the culmination of everything we as Nintendo fans and fans of Metroid have been waiting for years. It's finally the end of the meme, and that's the thing that I'm most excited about for it.
Yeah. Metroid Prime 4 it is.
All right. Metroid Prime 4 it is. Now we have one more category that we want to do, and that is the Game of the Year category. And Chris, do you want to announce the Game of the Year category and games?
Sure. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. Astrobot Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring, Shadow of the Erdtree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Metaphor, ReFantasia. Balatro.
Balatro it is. I'll roll with it. I love Metaphor ReFantasio, and I've liked that game a whole lot more than any of the other games on this list. But I understand that it is very much not everybody's kind of game. I understand that it's very much not everybody's kind of game. And what I think is the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields, my mother could enjoy Balatro. Like, you enjoy Balatro. My children could enjoy Balatro. And I don't think, I would almost argue for Astrobot though. I really would almost argue for Astrobot here. But I know we really want our indies to win. We want to champion those people and make sure that they get the flowers that they deserve for the work they've done.
I'm also fine with Astrobot.
You're also fine with Astrobot? Okay, well, Astrobot it is. Astrobot, game of the year.
Sorry, you can finish what you're saying about.
No, I'm
indie
good.
games?
I'm done. I don't need to say anything else. I think we did it. Here's the thing. Okay, so we've seen all of the games that were on this list, and there were a few that are obviously playable on Nintendo Switch today, right? Like there are a few that are on there. But by and large, this was not a Nintendo Game Awards. And Game Awards in and of themselves haven't really been Nintendo focused for a very long time by any means. The question that we've posed at the beginning of the stream and the titles for the streams is, was Nintendo snubbed? Was Nintendo snubbed? So I got a list of the games that came out within the cutoff period that would be able to be counted. And those games listed are Super Mario RPG, back November 17th of last year. Another Code Recollection, Mario vs. Donkey Kong, Princess Peach Showtime, Endless Ocean Luminous, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD, Nintendo World Championships NES Edition, Emio the Smiling Man Famicom Detective Club, The Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, Super Mario Party Jamboree, and that is it that would make it before the cutoff. And I mean, it's kind of been the overarching tone of everything that we've talked about for the last year is that like we are definitely in final years of the Nintendo Switch. And the quality of game that we are seeing is not necessarily the level of quality that we saw from Nintendo back in 2017 when the Nintendo Switch launched. Right. And I think we can all agree for the most part it was remasters and remakes and side content pieces with a sprinkling of Super Mario RPG Renaissance sprinkled in, you know? And I would say that for me, I would not agree with the take that Nintendo was necessarily snubbed. I don't think I can agree with that take because for the majority of that, these are games that I don't know that any of them would be able to compete with Game of the Year necessarily. The only one that I can think of that would compete with Game of the Year in that category with the cutoff that we have is Super Mario RPG. That's the only one I could see possibly competing in any regard out of all of this. And that is a full-on remake, but they did a really good job redoing that classic game that deserved to have a more modern audience eyes turned to it. But I can't say that it got snubbed. And I don't know how much you agree with that, Chris.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it got snubbed. I would have liked to see it somewhere, but I don't think even if it came out ahead of time, I don't think Super Mario RPG would have even made it.
Mario and Luigi Brothership?
No, Mario and Luigi Brothership, I don't think. I could see Zelda having a better chance than Super Mario RPG, but I don't see any of them really standing a chance to be nominated. if anything, people would just be like, "Oh, you're just putting a Nintendo game in there."
Right. Just to have it in there.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, next year, the year of the Switch 2, possibly. Unless they announce the Switch 2 for next year and then it gets pushed back to 2026.
Right here at the Game Awards.
Yeah. We could have, the next. I mean, we got Astrobot this year. Next year, we could get the real 3D Mario game that gets nominated, or whatever major Nintendo game they have.
Yeah.
If it's anything like the Switch 1 launch, where they had like one new major game every month.
They did that for 7 years, pretty much. There was one new major Nintendo game every month,
at least every 6 weeks or so.
Mm-hmm. So I mean, I am optimistic still yet for what the future of Nintendo Switch looks like. Nintendo Switch successor, rather, but I don't think it's so difficult for me to like say, yeah, they got snubbed. And mind you, there's a lot of people that want to throw shade toward Jeff Keighley, right? There's a lot of people that want to throw shade toward Jeff Keighley and say he's snubbing Nintendo. And I don't think it has anything to do with him. There's a games jury of over 100 different outlets that decide who is going to be represented. And even beyond that, you don't see ads for Nintendo games at the Game Awards or Summer Games Fest because Nintendo, A, doesn't need that advertising, and B, they're not going to pay the amount of money that Jeff is asking to have their stuff in that show because they don't have to. They have a direct line of communication known as also the Nintendo Direct. So like, it's just, right. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Well, not only that, but then if let's say Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft ever wanted to put a game in there, I'm sure Jeff he allows them to put their stuff in there for free because those things will draw more viewers in and getting people to talk, which then can cause him to get more people to get their stuff in there. But yeah.
I don't disagree with that, but I think that there is a level of he does need to have money to make the production happen, and those are the people with the money. Right? Like Balatro doesn't have the money to make that production happen necessarily. Right. So, and it is an expensive production, but I will tell you, we'll be watching with bated breath. It comes out on December 12th. Not comes out. My apologies. It doesn't release. It will be live December 12th, the Game Awards, where you guys can kind of watch the results. If you want to go vote, you can go vote over there as well. And then tell them Nintendo Rewind sent you. Be like, we're here for Metroid Prime 4. Yeah. But, that does bring us... And Zelda. And Echoes of Wisdom. But that does bring us to the final segment of the show tonight, which is the Nintendo Fast Forward. Chris, what's coming out today?
Oh,
or maybe not today, this week.
Yeah, there is. I updated the show notes. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, I didn't see that. I open up the stuff that we have to have, and then I. What did you do, Chris?
I changed one. Okay, so Locomotive comes out on November 21st. We could just go with the original ones.
No, I'm pulling it up. I'm pulling it up. Oh, that Life is Strange double exposure. Hang on a second. Let me pull it down here. We'll put it in. Oh, why isn't it? Okay, it wants my birthday. I see.
Oh, you got to put in your birthday.
Wish me happy birthday. Again, just your friendly reminder.
Yeah, don't forget. But yeah, this is a game we didn't mention last week because it came out. It got announced yesterday that it was coming out today, and then came out today, and the physical edition is coming out on the 16th of January, and the whole game is going to be on the cartridge they announced.
I want to know why this game is in the Game Awards, but Mario and Luigi Brothership isn't.
What, this game is?
Yes. It doesn't make sense.
Well, it doesn't look like this on the other systems.
But I'm talking about release date. Brothership definitely made the cutoff if this is the case.
Well, no, this is coming to the Switch today. It came out a few 3-4 weeks ago.
Okay. That makes
On
more sense.
yeah,
That
I
makes
think
more
it came
sense.
out in October on what's it called. But yeah, plus I think what happened with Mario and Luigi is a lot of people played it, and you either like it or you don't like it in the first few hours,
Hmm.
regardless of whether or not it gets better. And then what ends up happening is people are like, that's what they have to go on. But yeah, this is the new Life is Strange. It is it Double 11 that did it? I can't remember, but it's not Don't Nod anymore. But yeah, this is the
Square
double.
Enix Europe Ltd is the publisher, so that's
Well,
all I
yeah.
know about that.
But yeah, then this is out. You can go ahead and get it now. All the episodes are out. And yeah, so Life is Strange Double Exposure, $49.99. It's quite expensive. I haven't seen any performance videos on how it performs, but I just wanted to mention it because we didn't mention it last week because it didn't have a date last week.
Judging by this screenshot, I can't imagine great.
Well, that's like supposed to be a vision or something.
I
But
hope this is coming through over on your end. If it's not, just turn your stream quality down to 160p, and you'll know what you're looking at. Like,
it's the same image. Yeah. The next game is Locomotive, which is like a mystery crime solving game where you're on a train, you got to solve a murder. You're a detective. They got voice acting for all the characters. Um, I played the demo at Steam Next Fest. Loved the demo. Can't wait for the full game um, when that ends up coming out on November 21st for 1999. Then we got another game that came out earlier this year on Steam and is now coming to consoles, including the Switch. It is a bit of a slow week because all the rest of the games are coming out next week. November 26th, Nine Souls is $29.99. It is kind of like a um, a Souls like, very hard, a lot of parrying and um, dodging attacks and trying not to die. And then if you do die, you got to go back and get your souls. It's kind of bloody too. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Nine Souls. I enjoyed playing it on Steam. I also requested a Switch code, so we'll see how that goes because I just want to see how it performs on the Switch.
it gives me like Hollow Knight meets Cult of the Lamb vibes. In terms of its art direction, Cult of the Lamb, and in terms of its gameplay, Hollow Knight. But like with Okami-esque backgrounds. Maybe Fuma Gimitsu or whatever that game was. I don't know if you remember the one I'm talking about. That was also a Souls-like. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. $29.99. And I'm very interested in this one. Hand-drawn art and animations.
But yeah, it is really good. I'm enjoying it. I enjoyed it on Steam. That's one of those ones where I just hope it performs well on the Switch. All right, so then the next game on the list is none other than Critter Cafe, by golly. Critter Cafe is a game where I added this to the list because I have had a few friends that are playing this early, and they said it is pretty good. You kind of like go around and you have a cafe, but then you're like running around in the town and stuff and like collecting little, I guess, critters. But they're kind of like little creatures that you can then have in the cafe with you. But then also you're kind of doing the diner dash thing where you're going around making the food and doing all of that. I don't know why I like those games, but I do. But yeah, that is also coming out on the 26th, and that is $19.99. And then finally is, by golly, G.I. Joe Wrath of Cobra. Now, this, I played it on Steam. I just wanted to bring it up because it kind of looks like, you know, Shredder's Revenge, but
Splinter's Revenge?
Splinter's Revenge, yes. It kind of looks like Splinter's Revenge.
Shreddered Fates.
Shredder's Fates. Hello? Anyone got $1? But yeah, it kind of reminds me of that when like watching the trailers, but playing it just is not as much fun. The enemies kind of feel like sponges, which they can sometimes in games like this.
Yeah.
And then like the special abilities that you got, that they've just kind of felt lackluster and didn't really feel like they gave me any sort of much power at all. And I just wanted to let people know in case they saw this and were like, oh, look, it's an old school, beat 'em up. And
like that new Power Rangers game from the people who did Shredder's Revenge and all that jam. It's just not as snappy controlling as those games are.
Yeah. There was another one, Toxic Adventures. I played that demo. I did not like it as much. This kind of reminds me of that. Also, unrelated to this, it was Pixel Junk Monsters is the name of the game. I couldn't remember, which is on Steam or on Switch. And it is Pixel Junk Monsters is a...
the second one?
Pixel Junk Monsters 2, yeah.
I'm pulling it up so that way people can see it.
Yeah, Pixel Junk Monsters 2, which is a wonderful little roguelike game, but that's what Kitsune...
You sent me this one last year, right?
I think I did. I think I might have sent it to you last time. It was like on sale for like, 99 cents or something, or $1.99. I was like, oh, this is a good game.
You bought it for me.
I did?
Yeah, you gifted it to me. I'm pretty sure. I haven't touched this one yet, though.
Oh, you're right. I did gift it to you. That's right. It was on Steam for like 45 cents or something. Yeah.
And you were like, everybody should play this.
That's right. I forgot I did that.
$14.99 digitally for the standard version, or $21.99 for the deluxe edition. It's not a new release, but it's Chris's eShop Gem of the Week. So
yeah, I mean, we'll see. Maybe next week it'll be on sale.
That could work.
But yeah,
that could work.
If you get it, let me know, and we can play some multiplayer.
There we go. Well, listen, that brings us to the end of the show, guys. Was Nintendo snubbed? You guys let us know. Is there stuff that you would have liked to have seen nominated for a Game of the Year award, or a Game Award, rather, that didn't make it into the list, especially if you're a Nintendo fan? Please let us know in the comments below. And if you are curious about where you can catch all of our episodes, it'd be over at YouTube at youtube.com/@the-Nintendo-Rewind. Maybe visit our website for links to all of our social media garbage, nintendorewind.com, where you can also consider supporting the channel directly through there. We get 97% of the money versus like Twitch subbing, where, we get like 25% of that money. But also, thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, you can catch us weekly, Tuesdays at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here, live on Twitch and YouTube. Chris, where can they find you, my friend?
You can find me, I would say, over at Super Nintendo on pretty much everything. Or swing by, crush me in the frozen section,
Crush me in the frozen section. And you can find me over at nerdwireplays.com for all things Cody. But stay tuned. It's going to be a good time. And I look forward to seeing what everybody says. Catch us next week, by the way, where we're going to be covering all of the deals that you need to know for Black Friday 2024. So you can get the best deals on video games that you could possibly want. Thank you guys so much for watching. And remember, please be kind and rewind. We'll catch you next time. Peace.
Toodaloo.